Would it surprise you to know that there are 4 different types of savings accounts? Now, of course, I know there's more, but really 4 if you really break it down. Now, would it also blow your mind to know that one of them pays you at least 3 or 4% more in interest than the others and is also tax-free? So you get to make more money and keep more money. So if so, you're gonna love today's video, which answers the question, what are the 4 types of savings accounts? And I'm gonna rank these in reverse order of like worst to best. So hang in there because I'm saving the best for last. All right, so number 4, bank savings, right? The most common savings account, it's like the number one. You go on Family Feud and they say, places you keep your savings account. And then ding, 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 number 1 is gonna be the bank, right? You know, it's always the bank. You know, the bank savings account as you get, where you earn really point nothing percent. Many people are thrilled because they're like, oh my gosh, I made 0.1%. Like if I keep this for 10 years, I'll make a whole percent. An amazing 1%. Oh my gosh, right? That's kind of what it's like. You know, bank savings, the simplest, the easiest form you can get. You can walk into any Joe Schmo bank down the street and they've got some sort of savings account for you, don't they? That bank savings is fine. It's easy to get to if you ever have to go to an ATM. Awesome, it's great. But it's definitely gotta pay, it's not gonna pay you much. It's gonna pay you, like I said, very close to zero. Even if we have inflation, it'll get a little bit better, but they really pay the lowest interest. But they are convenient, they are easy to use, and so that's the give and take. You want convenience and ease of use, or you want something different. So that's number 4. We're not gonna go too much into depth with that one because there's other more interesting things than banks, aren't there? Number 3, ranked in order here, is online savings accounts. Now this one's a little bit better than bank savings because you can actually have an online savings account where you get paid more. I just checked mine recently. I was getting paid over 1%, which I thought was pretty amazing considering the last few years. It bottomed out around 0.5%. But still, while my other bank was paying me 0.05%, my online savings account was paying me 0.5%. So they pay much better, sometimes at least 7 to 10 times better than the average bank savings account. Easy to use, you can access it from anywhere. The one way it's not easy is that you can't walk into a bank and pull the money out. It's online, right? So you have to transfer it to your bank and it might take a day or 2. But they do pay more money, but do watch out. They might require certain minimums in there. You might have to keep a certain balance in there or you won't get paid anything. And they also might restrict how many times you might be able to access that money. So be careful because they might say, well, you can only access this X number of times per month. And if you go over that, no good, not allowed, kaput. It's not gonna happen, right? So do be aware of that. But there are so many good online savings accounts you can use. In fact, go check, we'll actually put this in the description below. There's actually some online savings accounts you can use. But just so you know, this is not the number 1. This is number 3 in rank, but there are some great resources out there. Number 3, this one's it's common, but it's not as often used, are CDs or certificates of deposit. You know, try to have me say that 10 times. Certificates of deposit. I'm not even gonna go 10 times because I can't make it that far. But CDs is way easier to say, right? CDs really have a certain time frame that you can put money in there for. Sometimes it's 1 month, 3 months, could be 6 months, or even a year or up to 5 years. That means they want to lock them up for that period of time. Now, if you understand banks and what they want you to keep your money in there forever and never touch it. They want you to leave it with them so then they can go make more money off your money. I've done other videos on this before talking about how banks work, but really, you think about it, they're taking your money from your bank account as their debt, and they're using that, they're borrowing it from you to go lend out to you. They lend it back to you again. So if you go buy that car loan and you're paying 4% of that car loan, but then you're only getting paid maybe 1% on your savings account, they're now making 4 times the amount of money off of your money, right? And that's if you're making 1%. Many of you are probably making point nothing percent while they're making 3, 4, 5+% loaning to you for car loans, mortgages, you know, credit cards, those kind of things. And so a CD, they'll pay you a little bit more because you have to leave it in there locked up. Now, if you take it out early, here's the warning, you take the money out early, you forego the ability to earn some of your interest. So they'll penalize you with interest charges, right? But if you leave it in there for 1 month, 3 months, 5 years, whatever the time frame is, they'll eventually pay you your interest over that period of time. And it's usually a little bit higher than what you get from the normal bank savings account or even online savings accounts sometimes. So that's what a CD is. It can be good, but just know that the money's locked up, and if you want it for emergencies, may not be the best place to store it. Okay, so I said number 3 was CDs, but really that's the number 2 rank. Third that I listed, but it's the number 2 rank, all right? So now, like we said, we're going into the number 1, the number 1 way that you can actually have a savings account and, like I said, earn 3 to 4% more and not pay any taxes is a concept called infinite banking or whole life insurance. Now, there are a variety of ways to do this. If you've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole, you've probably seen a lot of different things about infinite banking. What we're talking about is very low cost, high returning infinite banking, not the stereotypical crappy whole life insurance that your usual insurance agent that's got the big old belly and the tie that's way too short and wears a suit all day long, your AKA salesman in a suit. We're not talking about that kind of crap. We're talking about what I refer to as max ROI infinite banking, right? Once it's low cost, higher returns. Now this one, you can actually store your money in their tax-free savings account. It's actually accessible sometimes as soon as within a few days you can get to this money. But the great thing is that it grows right now, the net pay is at least 4 or 5% a year, and you don't pay any taxes on that money. So like for me with my tax bracket, which is unfortunately pretty sucky high, thank you, Uncle Sam. I love how rich you are and how rich I've helped you become. But for me to get paid 4 or 5% is like me earning 7 or 8% in a savings account, which you just will not find a bank or even an online savings account paying anytime in the near future, if ever. But with this, I can keep it locked up here and still access it. So I'm getting paid 4, 5% a year, tax-free. Oh, here's a bonus. If you ever worry about people suing you and take your money out, did you know I've actually had this happen? I've had people be able to, like the IRS, pull money out of my bank. I remember there was one year where I was flat broke. I couldn't pay all my tax bill. And guess what? I built up a little savings in my savings account. I was so proud of myself. And then bam, it was gone. Totally withdrawn. Why? Because I had a tax bill. The bank paid it to the IRS. It was gone. With infinite banking, if you have a creditor where you owe money, or even a lawsuit where somebody wins, in most states, they can't even get to this money. So not only is it like making a much better return, but it's protected, and it's protected from paying taxes too. So much better, again, if it's done right. That's the key thing. You have to make sure it's done well and written well. So for my own personal experience, for my own savings account, my wife wants to keep $200,000 just sitting around, never touch it, right? She's like, I don't want to touch that money. Now, could you imagine how crappy of a return I would get if I had $200,000 earning 0.1% at my bank right now? I mean, that's like, I don't know, a couple bucks a month, It's like $200 a year that I would be earning in my bank. And then I get taxed on $200 a year. But what we do is we keep a little bit of bank savings. We keep some money there because we want to have money we can actually pull out that day if we really, really need it. But most banks don't want you to pull out more than $3,000 or $5,000 in a day. They try to not let people pull out too much cash all at once. So we keep a little money there. We keep even a little bit more money in our online savings account. Remember I mentioned that's number 4 rank. Now we're going to number 3 rank, online savings account. And we use that. The number 2 rank CDs we don't use because we don't see any purpose really using it. Because why? We use the number 1 rank for almost the vast bulk of our money. At least 75% of our money is sitting in these whole life insurance policies that we call these infinite banking policies. They sit there earning much higher returns. So imagine $150,000 now making 4% more. I mean, I'm trying to do the math off the top of my head, and this might take me a long time, but to save you the time, it means I make about $6,000 more a year, and I don't pay taxes on $6,000 versus the bank where I'd make $6,000 less. So I'm making more money for no extra effort on my part. I mean, that's just genius, right? So those are the 4 types of savings accounts that I do, or I use 3 of the 4, but those are the 4 types. So like I said, in reverse order, number 4, bank savings. Easy, but crappy pay. Number 3 is online savings accounts. Pays a little bit better, but not great. Number 2 are CDs, or the certificates of deposits. They're great, but again, they're locked up for a period of time, so they can pay you a little bit better, but you're gonna have some little handcuffs put on you. The number 1 that I love so much is infinite banking, whole life insurance. That is what allows me to grow my money better. If I got to sit around and doing nothing anyways, why not have it there? Oh, and here's another little bonus for you. I also use this money to invest. So not only do I have it for reserves, I actually use this money to go buy real estate and go do things that create passive income now versus trying to wait 5 million years to access this money. So I actually get this money to work for me in 2 places at the same time. I get to double dip, have my cake, and eat it too. So that's the huge thing there. So I would love to hear in the comments, what kind of savings accounts are you using? What do you love? What's your rank? What do you love to use for your savings accounts? And if you like this video, check out, does having multiple savings accounts hurt your credit? That's a good question. I don't know. Go check it out.